So hello everyone. Welcome to Marketing Cloud Personalization Series Day 6. Today we are covering topic of segmentation, but it will be not only about segmentation, but also united customer profile that we didn't cover on our last session 2 days ago. So as promised, I will start over with this topic, and then we will focus on the segmentation. It's basically even better for us because last time we covered data integration part. We covered it fully with some kind of demo. I actually maybe just let me finish the intro, and I will do the promised things. So yeah, we covered data integration, and I was a little bit stuck with the demo of how the file can be placed into a Marketing Cloud Personalization. So I tested again. I will try to do this today at the very beginning, and then we will focus on unified customer profile and segmentation. Just again, to remind you who I am, maybe someone of you joined just now, who knows. My name is Ekaterina Obolenskaya, but shortly it's just Ikat. You can call me Ikat or Katya. I consider myself as Marketing Cloud full stack consultant because I rather focus not only on Marketing Cloud itself, but also Marketing Cloud intelligence, personalization, as you can see, as well as core engagement. And for past years, I also dedicated myself to cover data cloud integrations and product features overall. I am a marketing champion from the very beginning when this program and the championship was announced. I also lead a Salesforce marketer group in Prague, Czech Republic. So I'm based in Europe. I am 8-time certified marketing automation expert. So my certifications mostly relate to Marketing Cloud fully, as well as some side products like Pardo, Data Cloud, Personalization too. And I also actively speak in, helping people to prepare for their first and other certifications related to Marketing Cloud. I'm trailblazing as all of us here. And if you want to reach me out with some questions or just to connect with me, here are some links to my Twitter and LinkedIn profiles. So let's get started. First of all, to let you know what are the expectations for today's session. We will cover unified customer profile topic from both user angle and account angle, because we all know that personalization also works with the B2B industry, and sometimes it's a goal to store unified account profiles. So we will have a look at this. And then we will fully switch into a segmentation topic where I will briefly introduce you to the theory, and then we will you will see the demo of segmentation aspects, basically how it's structured and how to create segment for some specific purpose. And as always, my presentation is full with links. In the end, you will also find a slide where I suggest some very important links that you can explore yourself, as well as during my slides, there are also links leading to important documentation aspects, which is officially available on Salesforce sources. And before we jump in, maybe I can quickly, and even for testing that everything works, I would like to show you, this data upload from before, because sessions are recorded and it's good to have this thing recorded too. So previously, just a quick recap. We covered data integration part, and there were many aspects of data integration that you can explore in the recording of my previous session. But for today, the one part that was missing was the actual upload of some pre-prepared files for specific data object in Marketing Cloud Personalization. So for instance, if I want to upload something to the user ETL, I can click validate or execute. So I can firstly check and put some files. So I will just use the file that was already pre-prepared. So there is this file that is successfully previewed here, and I can run a test to see what will be, how the platform will accept my prepared data. It's important to know this because once you upload it directly, then there might be some errors, and you still need to update the file and come back to the process of uploading it and testing again. So this testing phase is important then to prevent some errors. So now we can see that, yeah, test is complete, no items staged. We can view logs here for the details. We can also see some kind of details that my file was successfully accepted with all 6 rows suggested from the file. And once I click commit, this data might be uploaded to, just probably for the purpose. Yeah, it's actually feasible, but okay. I mean, like once you click commit, this file can be then fully placed into import into Martin Cloud Personalization. And as I said before, you can then check by some attributes, like for instance, email address, if this new people can be accepted and viewed in Martin Cloud Personalization. So it's just like quick recap of what was covered before, and to show you that how the process of testing the file upload works in Personalization. So now let's switch to the agenda of today and start with the unified customer profile. So again, I try to make it easier for you to understand this topic, because you can definitely explore a lot of things in official documentation in a very detailed way. But the goal of this session is to give you like the overview of the platform and to let you understand how it actually works. So I would like to focus on really needed information here. So identity resolution overall is used to identify each customer and create for this customer a unique consolidated profile, so that we can use the power of personalization tool to deliver personalized experience. So we all know that companies are using lots of data about their customers, and of course when we speak about individuals, these individuals might sit in different systems, and the challenge is that users engaging in these various channels, and these individuals might have multiple profiles from the system perspective. And we need to have this information and use identity resolution to then create profiles for the same person, one profile for the same person, so that we are not storing duplicates and not actually capturing the behavior of people for different profiles, but rather in one, because still it's the same individual who is, let's say, browsing the web, or is active in a mobile application, or clicking or viewing emails, and etc., etc. So what is the solution for this identity resolution? Is when personalization tool attempts to merge data based on ruling from different sources into a unified customer profile. When I say ruling is something that we actually guide the system to do, and today we will explore this. I will show you how personalization solves this challenge of identity resolution. So basically, we might store data about our customers, but we need to help the system to understand what are identifiers in different sources, so that we can merge profiles together and create this profile for one person, for one individual. The prerequisite is, of course, clear identity information. It means the identifiers in different data sources and channels that we would like to integrate. For instance, it can be generally system ID, device ID, or email address, and others, so you can imagine. And then based on this, we can navigate systems, so how data can be connected, and then we actually delegate the responsibility on the system to use this data and then merge profiles once it's a purpose. In Marketing Cloud Personalization, we store two types of profiles. One is related to users, so it's called Unified Customer Profile. And another one is Unified Account Profile, so related to accounts. The difference is in the purpose of your business and your business strategy. So for some of the clients, it's important to run B2C initiatives. For another business, it's rather B2B when there are accounts and personalization supports this too. When I speak about unified customer profile, we speak about users. So I placed here so you can connect with what I have talked before. We are connecting this with user ETL, so where we actually bring in individuals and then continue with personalization to monitor their behavior. Data for unified customer profile is collected about a particular user, and we don't divide, it's in system divided, but we store for both anonymous and named profiles. So either the person is known to us or it's an anonymous user yet that is browsing the web right now and is not identified yet. We still create it's personalization that creates anonymous profile for such a user and then stores all kind of behavior, session duration, and let's say product preferences based on the behavior, of course, and personalization. So it's then still anonymous. We can't contact this person as we don't have any contact information stored, but we still have profile. And in the moment when this person identifies himself, I call it raises digital hand, when the form is submitted or the person logs in into some kind of profile portal or something else, at least we get some sort of identifier like email address, then the profiles merge and we have only named profile in the system. And the information that you see in a unified customer profile then depends on the selected dataset type, which is important. So I will show you rather the type of e-commerce today in the demo, because we are still I would say stitched to that case with Northern Trail Outfitters, which is generic use case from Salesforce. So you will see it, but there are other dataset types available, like demand generation or software as a service. And yeah, basically that's it. And it's the unified customer profile is the foundation of campaign personalization and data analysis, because it not only gives you insights about the individual, the attributes, behavior, preferences, activities, segment membership, and etc., but it also is all the time enriched with the data and tracking, so that we are delivering better personalized campaigns for that individual. The next thing is unified account profile, which is then related to account ETL, where we can upload accounts into the system. And then we use the data collected about particular account or business in aggregated format. Account profiles then are built through a reverse API lookup and enriched with firmographic data, for instance, the industry of operation, revenue, employee count, and there is specific feature for tracking this data so that information can be aggregated, which is B2B detect feature. Probably, yeah, I now have in my mind that there is also some explanation of this feature in official documentation. So I will, after this session, I will update the link here so that you can explore this yourself too. And let's move on. So we spoke about identity resolution, about types of unification and personalization. Now, I rather want you to know a little bit about identity system, which is available in personalization. So there is, of course, this challenge of merging the profiles, but as I mentioned, we use ruling for this. We are using something according to something available for our business when we have different systems, and of course the system have different identifiers, so identity system in personalization actually solves it. So this is set up at the very beginning of implementation of personalization. I would have a note here that it's a permanent setup. So once you set up identifiers and identity types in personalization, it's forever. So before you actually want to set this up, you need to carefully decide which attributes will be used for that, because you don't have an option to, you know, move back or to undo some actions. So it's just like how you set this up, then this is something how it will work in personalization for you. And this, of course, this identification from various systems for your customers is set up before you start collecting data through web site mapping, data-driven events or data feeds. I remember this is also part of the questioning for personalization exam. So I rather focused on some even questions that, like, I mean, information that might appear in certification. So for those people who are willing to pass this certification, please listen carefully, because this is one of the core parts of not only examination, but of course, real practice and implementation of the system. So we set up identity system before we start actually using the platform for website mapping, bringing data-driven events, set up data feeds. So it's just a step before. And the identity system itself is formed by identity types, as I mentioned. So you can see this in the demo. I will show to you how to set this up. And there you select unique user profiles within personalization. So you basically set up which attributes should be used for identity types. And after creating identity types, you then associate it with user profile attributes to capture specific user data there. So probably it's also important to mention this before I jump into the demo. So there are identity types. Just to recap, I know it might be tough to understand, because it's like some kind of technical thing available in personalization, but as I mentioned, it's very important to know the dependencies and the aspects of it. So I try to actually make it easier to you and bring in only relevant information. So yeah, we set this up in personalization, but we also divide identification into I would call it like two different paths or like streamlines, where one is related to uniqueness of that value of the identifier, and like it's called not unique, but maybe like when the attribute is used as identifier, but can appear in multiple profiles. So let me explain. Identity namespace, how it's called in personalization, is responsible for saying to the system and navigating the system in terms of like uniqueness of the value. So once we call the value or like set this up as the identity namespace, it means that this value is very unique and nobody else can have it. And I also bring in here some examples. So if the email address is selected as identity type and identity namespace type, all user profiles in personalization with a unique email address belong to the same individual. So it means that there couldn't be a person who has the same email address, because this person will be considered as a duplicate. And as we don't store duplicates in personalization, at least the system based on this configuration will think that it might be a duplicate. It will then associate that data of another person with that profile that was already created. So here, when specifying identity types, it's important to understand this kind of configuration. So if email address is selected to be unique, then only one individual will be associated with this email address and nobody else. Even we bring new data, it will be still pushing the data to that same individual. Another thing is saying that this identity type, which is email address, is not unique. And then this value can belong to multiple user profiles in a personalization data set. So it won't be used for identity lookup at all, and for instance, or profile merging. Again, an example. So again, I stitched to email address example. If we selected email address as identity type, but not unique, it will mean that multiple users might share the same email address. And for instance, if let's say you have a partner, but the email address is same for you, I don't know, you just share. I mean, like maybe this example is not the best one, but just for you to understand that, yeah, you share with someone email address. And if you use this, like if personalization uses email address as not unique identity type, then each of you might have, so you will have your own profile, your partner will have its own profile, but email address attribute will be the same, even though like, yeah, you're still two different individuals. And here place also a note, because maybe it might be a question from some of you. There is no, because the examples are stitched to email address, and you might guess like, what's the best option? I frequently have such questions from like either users or clients, but there is no, let's say, best practice for email address example, rather that it of course depends on the specific customer business case. So for some of the clients, for some of the cases, it's crucial to have email address as a unique value, so that everything is attached around it, and email address is only belonging to the same individual. Sometimes it's not the case, and yeah, email address is still used as identifier of the person, but it's rather not unique, so that multiple users might have same email address. So it just depends on the specific customer business case, and you need to first explore this, understand the dependencies and the relationships between the data, then to make the decision after, as you might remember that identity system and personalization is set up permanently. And now, before we jump into, into presentation, I just not, oh, God. Just a second, I will switch back to the demo, because, yeah, a bit stuck with my Windows and Zoom. So now I can share screen, and you just confirm with me that you can see it. Okay, great, thank you. So we are back to personalization and information related to a unified customer profile. So for those of you who are just starting maybe to work with the platform, or maybe for recap, for those who already know where it's you can find the data. So before you use the power of unification of profiles and profile merging, the implementation phase requires to set the identity types in settings identity types. You already see that in our demo account, we already have it. So there are attributes that might be used for identification of people, like name, email, customer ID, even though it's in two formats. But as I mentioned, we have the demo account, so we might have some kind of information that is not related basically for the real cases. Phone number, for instance, Salesforce CRM, contact ID and lead ID, as well as for sure Salesforce Marketing Cloud contact key. But what I want you to know that not only we set up the attributes, but here is this uniqueness of either identity namespace and not unique. Unfortunately, I can't tell you like why it's not just called very easily unique or not unique. The product has its own configuration that unique values are called identity namespace, and please learn this word because it might be helpful for you for examinations in your real practice, and then just not unique for those values that are used to identify people, but they are not unique, like for instance name. There is a funny case that if you set up, let's say, first name of the person as identity namespace, everybody who is, let's say, everybody who is called Tom will have the same profile, because there is not possible to bring in another Tom profile, as it still recognizes this as a one user. So that's why it's a funny story, but actually explains the logic of configuration. You need to, first of all, explore yourself, customers' data. So what is then will be set up as a unique value and not unique. There is also a possibility to set up a case sensitivity. So for those values that where it matters, you can set up as true, when it's not, just as false. So we set up identity types and settings in administration tab and settings and under account setup. And then in attributes, so once we have identity types created, we have a set of attributes that are used to store customer data, as well as which is important for us to build segments on. As you might already know, that segmentation is using not only attributes of our customers, but also behavior. And we will jump into this, but all attributes are managed under settings and data model section under attributes tab. Of course, every client is different, and different attributes will be set up here. But again, related to unified customer profile topic, you can see that some of the attributes are mapped with identity types like loyalty ID, Salesforce contact ID, customer ID, email address, profile IDs, Marketing Cloud contact keys. And you can see that others are not. So it means that all of the rest are not related to identity resolution. So we won't use, let's say, address to find person who lives the same address, but we rather use customer ID, email address, so that system constantly looks up for people who might match with the same email address, and then to merge profiles into one profile, so that it's identified. And yeah, I also have, of course, the demo for segmentation, but before, let me switch back to my slides and show you, explain a little bit of theory related to segmentation. With the segmentation, the topic is not that heavy, so it's easy to understand the logic under the segmentation. So I rather focus on the features, so how Marketing Cloud Personalization actually views on segmentation, because for those Marketing Cloud users, there will be some of interesting things as well as new things, as the segmentation and personalization is taken rather differently than in Marketing Cloud Core. So what are the features? Segmentation in Marketing Cloud Personalization is a real-time grouping of users or accounts. I still focus on all possibilities, because tool can work with B2B and could store accounts, so you should know it. I know that the most of the cases is just users, but want you to know, let's say, all kind of possibilities of the platform. So it's real time. It's that's why I highlighted even this. Real time means that if we set up a rule for a segment, and a user in the system is matching this rule, this person appears in the segment. Once it's not matching the rule at some point of time, it will be excluded from the segment automatically. So we don't need to control this. We rather control the rules for the segment. Very simple example is, for instance, so we can set up in Marketing Cloud Personalization, find all users that were not active on our web for the past 14 days. So they didn't browse our web for the past 14 days. And all people who were not browsing our web for the last 14 days will be in the segment. But once someone or some range of people will come to the web and visit some pages, at least even like for a second or something, it will be still considered to be a web activity, it will be excluded from that segment because now this person is already active. So it's not a part of the segment anymore. And we don't constantly write some ruling so that we can find people every day, like we might do this in Marketing Cloud with the like automation setup. We don't do this. We just set the rule and the system works for you to find those matching users or accounts. So that's the understanding of real-time grouping. The next feature, segmentation is running based on defined rules. And this rules range is quite wide and deep because we not only focused on the attributes we store, so like the age of the person is more than 60, or the person lives in the state of the US, Ohio, or something like this, but it's rather a combination of attributes we store about our users and accounts plus its behavior. So in my case, it's mentioned that, for instance, we can track the web activity for the past 14 days. So we can say if some product was some even specific product was purchased for last months, or for instance, not purchased, and we would like to run some personalization activity and campaign set up for promoting that product for a specific segment, and etc., etc. So it's like various configurations you might achieve. As I always say, it depends on your creativity and on the case, because you can start with even some kind of light version of segmentation and then progress till something very advanced. And today we will focus on this during the demo part. I will show you how to create a segment. Third feature of the segmentation is that it adds another layer of personalization to your campaigns. That's for sure, because we are trying to support our personalization campaign delivery for specific segments. So we would like to focus on some specific, like either high value customers, those who purchased in big amounts of money for, like, let's say past year or overall. We can focus on the customers that has quite a big lifetime value, or the opposite, they don't have much purchases in the past, and we would like to re-engage with them and promote our products or services, and etc., etc. So then it helps us to target people better and deliver for them what they might need, what they might want. And the last is very briefly that segments can be exported. I also placed a link here because segment extract can be then explored in official documentation. That's important, for instance, when we have prepared a segment in personalization and would like to activate it in Marketing Cloud journey. So this feature is used so that segment is prepared and is then pushed to Marketing Cloud to deliver emailing, mobile communication, maybe something else, maybe advertising. So this is one case, or export can be made to other third parties connected to personalization. So when you want to activate it in another platform besides Marketing Cloud. The next thing is that, again, the differentiation between user segment and account settings, user segments return to you a set of individual users, either it's known or anonymous, where various account segment is rather focused on B2B, return to you set of accounts. So it's not the individuals, but accounts. And then you can, of course, focus on understanding of interests on account level and better target the users associated with that segmented account. For example, account tier division, when we want to segment all of our accounts in different tiers, and then let's say you have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, all accounts will be then grouped in a specific segment related to a specific tier, and users under that accounts might be targeted with some personalized communication from personalization tool. Some of segmentation highlights. Segment rules that we set up for each segment define then which visitors will be included or excluded from a segment, and we know this. As you might know already right now, that it's done in real time. If a visitor match, it will be included. If a user not match at all or not match after some time, it will be automatically excluded. And this is then because, of course, most of you will come back to the slides, maybe use this for your exam preparation for certification. So I also highlighted this in written way that you can only choose one logic gate and or per group, and one logic gate across groups, because when you set up segment rules, and I will show you this in the demo, you then can have under one segment different segment ruling groups. So once it's like the segment group once like the segment ruling is grouped, you then use only one logic for this group, one logic across the groups and one logic gate per group. So this is important to know. And before we jump into the demo, there are some segmentation examples that for sure personalization supports. It's just an example. For sure you can be advanced in segmentation and build very advanced segments with multiple rules and rule groups and etc. Or you may be just starting, and this can be an inspiration for you. So segment can be built based on abandoned carts activities. So for instance, in the segment, we might find out people who added items to their cart but haven't completed the purchase, let's say for the past 48 hours. And of course, the power of real-time segment is that once a person is purchased the product, of course, then it will be excluded from the segment, and we won't continue communicating and promoting the product for it. Then we might have some product enthusiasts. Those are the users who have shown a high level of interest in specific products. So I rather took it at high level. So you might say like men's shoes, and then it will be interest of men's shoes categories, no matter which exact men's shoes, either let's say for running or for hiking or for some kind of indoor activities and etc. So you might then select upon your choice, where we decide the interest based on some browsing behavior and purchase history. Also, we might have a timeline for this. I placed here past 14 days, for instance. We might also find people with high value in their either purchase history or by following other kind of behavior of customers. So these will be the users who have reached a certain spending threshold or have been members of the loyalty program for a certain period. So for us, either we decide based on purchase value or based on some kind of specific loyalty program membership type. And of course, our segments are powerful based on the data we store. So that's why we started with the data, with the identification of this data, with the attributes, and now we are heading to segments. So what you have stored, it helps you to build powerful segments. And yeah, I would like to, for now, sorry, I know this mistake. I will stay within the window and then switch the tabs. So I show to you what I actually want to show. We are back to personalization. I will update just in case I was logged out. I'm not. And now we are moving into audiences tab, where we see a feature of user segments. Either under user segments, we can see all users that are in our Martin Cloud personalization account. But for us, it's more important to see the user segments. So overall, here you can organize your segments into folders. Please don't use this as a best practice because we use this account for the demo purpose, and there are some kind of archive and categorized training exercises folders, but just for you to know that if you have organization of your segments based on some campaigns or based on some other marketing initiatives, you can group them in the folders and then see the final number of segments sitting there. In the folders, you can create actually subfolders, so it's just like either folder or not, and then you have specific segments and in each folder, and of course each segment then have its own ruling. Before I show to you the segment, I would like to show and connect this with a customer profile. So it is myself stored in the personalization account, having some kind of affinities under my profile that are grouped based on my purchase activity or view time or view count overall. Again, just you better understand the logic of the tool. So all affinities are stored under each unified customer profile. This is basically the beating heart of personalization tool. Under you can see the time level of my activities, but since I haven't been active for this range of like in this month, let's say, I don't have any kind of bubbles that I can explore. So either I browse the web or I reply to email, or maybe not reply, but rather maybe clicked, called call center, or being active in a mobile application. So this is the time when I can see some of my activities. Here you can see the details, and some of the data is hidden because it's sensitive, but I can, because I'm an admin, I can view it. So it's just like normally how you can see attributes fulfilled. In my profile, I can also see the purchase histories that I, let's say, purchased 2 women shoes in the account, and I see the amount. If I have viewed some of the products on the web, it will be also visible in this area. But what is important that, yeah, of course, you can explore it like by profile objects. I can just jump each of the tabs so you can see there are none of them. It's rather important to show to you segment membership, because this can be also explored. And as I have some attributes, have some behavior stored, of course, based on some ruling, I might be in some of the segments, and each segment can be explored from the list here. I can also compare the segments and add here some kind of let's say a segment, no visit for 14 days, it will be added here, and you can compare some values in averages or totals to see like how I perform in there. I can also see under my unified customer profile action details, but actually there is like no actions at all. It's just a test account. Event stream means that you can have some events. So let's say purchase activities, web browsing, all views, reactions in different channels can be then viewed under event stream. Affinity details is rather like also like not populated here, but no worries. Just for you to give you an understanding that based on the catalog objects, you might group the activities of that exact person and what are the interests and preferences in this term. So coming back to segment membership, I will then switch to, let's say, high value customers, for instance, because once I jump inside, I jump under a specific user segment, which is high value customers. And we already have a description of this segment where it says that here are only the customers who purchased at least $100 worth of any product in our whole database for all the time. So we can control this rule under Setup tab, where there is a selection of items, its purchase value that is at least $100, and it's worth any product for all the time. We can control, of course, and change it to the category. So where products will be grouped for some specific category, and then change it. But be careful, because once you change their rule for the segment, of course, people that you see in the list of the segment will be changed, because the system will choose those who now apply to the new rule setup. Under the segment, you can also see the membership. So you can even have some combination. Let's say I can maybe a little. So yeah, you can compare this. So it's like nice features to compare the segments between each other based on the user's membership under the segment. This is the comparison that I showed on a unified customer profile, but you can also explore the same thing in comparison to the specific segments and users sitting in the segment. There are the same like category affinities. So product preferences, categories preferences in terms of view time, purchase, and revenue, again, tagged to that users in the list, and setup I showed where you can control it. You can also have the segment created disabled. So for instance, you just test some rule for the segment, but you don't want to make it enabled and see the actual amount of people in the segment. So this segment is enabled. That's why we can see the final number of the users. And now, because I promised, I will show to you how to create a segment. So we can just show this new segment. We start on Canvas by default. Once I publish or just save my segment, it will be enabled. But if I don't want, of course, I can put it as a disabled. It's not a problem. So let's say I would like to focus on users who have browsed some specific category of product today, but have not made a purchase in the last 7 days. So how can I set this up? So first of all, we need to select a category of our rule. So we have multiple of the options. So we can segment on campaigns, specific action, subscription, visits, user location, maybe some metrics that we set up for the account, third-party data, gears when we are working with site integrations, or items. For us, it's important to focus on items based on the segment introduction I made. So what I want to achieve with this segment, and actually I can call it like product, let's say engagement. Today, no purchase, something like this, so that it at least gives you a clue what I want to achieve and not just randomly selecting a case, a rule. So we have an item because we would like to focus on some specific product item. It can be even like product category. I will show you. So we focus on items, and now we have a rule like what we want to see. Either item action first time, so somebody who first time actually viewed or did something with the item that we will select further. Maybe item action count, so not only the first interaction but the count of all interactions related to that item. Time spent. Maybe we have a feature of making the item favorite, and we would like to focus on those who mark the product favorite. Cart adds value, purchases value, cart contents, or the first time, or the count, or the value of the item. So it's quite self-explanatory. But we would like to do action count because we would like to count all activities. Then, of course, we need to set up the rule further. Here we can see what actually is considered to be our action, either view, add to cart, remove from the cart, purchase, review, share, comment, make an item favorite. But as I want to focus on those who are viewed the item, I click just viewed. I don't know why it's like, sorry, I will just save it, product category, engagement today, no purchase. Just was curious why it was not saved. So we stopped item. We would like to make a count of all actions, which is view. And now we are in the stage of saying like, either it's for all items we have or all products, but or maybe some specific. So we have only two selections. We would like to focus on some specific product category, and we choose specific. Then we are moving with what exactly relates to our items. So either it's an article or blog post, maybe it's just product, maybe it's product category, department, color, feature, gender, item class, product list, and style. But as we focus on the category, I will mark a category. And here we have an option to select a specific category for our segment selection. And let's say I want to say women, and it will be women accessories, backpacks, let's say. So you have categories already populated from the list. As I would like to rather focus on today, so it can be that it can be at least let's say two views of any product related to this product category for today, because we say how much activities we want to count and what is the time period. So we can either make it in the last 1 day or between or on or after, before. So we have variations here available. But as I said that it will be today, let's keep it just for today. Then, because we have another rule of the purchase, we can create another rule here, and it will be with the condition of and. So not only we want to count the views, but also to know that no product was purchased. So now let's go in round. So again, we need to select an item. We need to then in the rule select purchase value, and then we want to track that there were no purchases. We would like to promote some products from that category to those for the users in the segment. So we will select at most 0, as the amount of the purchase is 0, worth of any product in the last let's say 14 days. Can be, yeah, can be, or yeah, I mentioned 7, probably 7 days in the last week. So this will give us customers who viewed the product in the category, but has no purchase at all. So never purchased within our catalog or our web, whatever, from our brand. And the feature is that, yeah, we can now our rules are grouped. In case we would like to create another group of rules, we create a new group, and then we can select other kind of rule in here, and then change the condition between both ruling groups. But this is not the purpose of our example, so I will just have it like this, and let's say save it. The email reporting can be also updated for the users who would like to see the result of this segment. So daily updates might be sent for that user too. So this as in terms of the segment creation. And what I want to share more today is a little bit more of theory. It's just a few slides that I have for today, and it relates to the feature that you also need to know, which is the A/B test of the segments. So it's not something that is available and you set this up in personalization, like that you go and create a segment that will be used for A/B test, but it's rather that you create multiple of segments and then you can use created segments for A/B testing. What is the case for it? The case is that you can have multiple campaigns that you want your users to test in. And system using this feature can distribute traffic and decide which users will see which experiences, or basically users of each segment might see different experiences. An example is that let's say there are 3 campaigns that you have created in Marketing Cloud Personalization, and each one has, of course, a control experience. So there is kind of overall traffic coming to that campaign, but also a control experience that sees default content. Then you want to make sure that the same group always gets the control experiences. So no matter which campaign, control experience people grouping is staying the same. Then you create 2 segments for it. One can be global control and one can be a segment called global experience. And under each group, you can create specific rules because it depends again on the case. So wherever you prefer, maybe it will be a man category, women category, based on location, based on the age, etc., based on preference. So you are placing some people under global control and then the rest under global experience. And after you use this segment compare feature to see how the segments perform against each other for all campaigns. So on the campaign setup in the control experience group, you will then use that segment so that they see all the time the control experience content, and for the rest it will be used the global experience segment. And then segment compare feature will give you more insights on how both of the segments perform in relationship to those 3 campaigns. So this case actually covers a lot of features available in Marketing Cloud Personalization. I would say it's rather advanced case, but also gives you the power of the tool itself. So how you not only use the segment feature, how you use campaign setup and differentiation between control experience and overall traffic, how you then use segment compare feature in relationship to these 2 segments, and see the performance and improve your campaigns in Marketing Cloud Personalization. Like for summing up, I have the slide with the useful links for the segment usage. So it's kind of interesting article there available in Salesforce documentation that you can explore yourself on different like aspects of segmentation and its usage in personalization. And also I have an of course, you will have this recording for it, but you can also explore yourself how to create a segment in Marketing Cloud Personalization when you will have access to the platform and want to do this yourself. So might be useful for you too. And for now, just now, maybe we can focus on some questions that are published in chat if there are some. And basically, that's it for today from my side. Let's see if there is something, or just now.
I have been monitoring the chat, and thank you very much, Jacob, for jumping in and answering the questions. So I don't think we have any other questions. So Jacob has answered all of them. If anybody has any other questions, please post them in the chat. I think that is all for today.
Yeah, so just in case something might come up and when exploring again this kind of presentation or some sources, please don't hesitate to contact me, not only related to data integration or segmentation. Maybe there will be some other challenges with the Marketing Cloud personalization from your side. I can share with you my experience and try to help you out. So please connect. And yeah, that's not my last session actually for this Marketing Cloud series. So the last for this week, but we will see each other the end of August, right? It will be 29th, right, Josna, for the Open Time ML campaigns.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll let you know. So I'll follow up with you on that. So just another note. So the next session is going to be on Einstein decisions and recipes. That will be by Jacob. So that is at 1 p.m. Unlike the regular sessions that happen at 12 p.m. The next Tuesday, the session is going to be at 1 p.m. EST. So make sure that you follow your time zone and the time is changed. So I will update the timings as well in the Slack channel. And for the technical discussion, that is all for today. Any other questions, please reach out to us on the Slack channel. And we'll see you next Tuesday with Jacob on Einstein recipes and decisions. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you for your time and good luck with the product learning and exploration. Thank you.